Let's see, what can I grow from the grocery store? In this episode, I'll be honest, I ain't got anything growing. So let's just walk around and take a look at what we've got, see what worked, see what didn't, see what I got going that I never told you about. Maybe a little bit of that from time to time. Basically just do a status update. About halfway through October 2017. Hello folks. Let's see, it's October 13th, 2017. Friday the 13th. I'm kind of lost because I'm looking at something that I haven't seen in a long time. My lab is practically empty. I got nothing growing in here except these guys here. We have one little papaya that's just too small to transplant yet. One little champion tomato that is, boy, scrawny. Got some basil back here that I trimmed off the top of the plants I had outside. I'm going to overwinter that this year. And one little beefsteak tomato back there. I didn't have room to put him outside. And all the rest of this, the last time we looked, was tomatoes. And I successfully today got the last of my tomatoes planted outside. So I got an empty lab. I may have to go see if there's anything growing in the kitchen that I could start another experiment with. But that's where we're at the moment. I feel totally lost. Today is Friday the 13th, October 13th, 2017, and I just want to give a little bit of a status update on everything that I've been growing from the grocery store. These guys are not edible. I ignore them, they keep producing babies. A couple blueberries, those didn't come from the grocery store. Pineapple. I'm sure you've seen my pineapples before. This was my original, or what came from my original. If you look down in there, there's a dead one down there. That was the first pineapple that I planted. I ate the pineapple, and that plant produced another pineapple the first year I had it planted. It also produced this other pineapple plant that grew out of the side of it. I never got them separated. The pineapple that came from the first plant, I planted it, and that's what we see here. It is happy. And the one I did the video from is this little guy down here. It is growing, not real fast, but it is growing. Let's see. Okay, full disclosure, I don't see any celery. Nope, the celery did not make it. It could not handle the heat this summer. So both of my celeries died. These are papayas. I got so many papayas, I don't know what to do with them. They seem to grow all over the place. A little bit of sage there, a little bit of rosemary, ginger, and turmeric. This is my turmeric bed. Also has some ginger mixed in with it. I tried to keep the ginger back on the second half. It's not growing as well as I'd like it to, but it is growing. Probably will be digging that stuff up in the next couple of months. But the turmeric, at least, still keeps putting out new turmerics. They're popping up all over in here. I don't think the turmeric is expecting winter this year. Here's one we've never mentioned before. I haven't done a video on it. Well, I've mentioned it from time to time. You may recognize it. This is a mystery pepper plant with amaranth growing in it. Got a couple of datil peppers over here. These are native to Florida. Been fighting the whiteflies with those things. And my guacamole tree. Still doing strong. About a little over a foot tall. Has leaves. I'm still nursing it along. And hopefully it will make. And let's see, here's my mystery fig. I keep getting other plants growing in here. Right now it's full of amaranth. I pulled some cherry tomatoes out of here a few months ago. Here's my sweet potato bed. Sweet potatoes are still doing pretty good in spite of my epic fail. We'll be digging them up in a couple of months too. Lots of tomatoes. I think there's 104 of them in here. I think I did a transplant video on them, transplanting these cherries back here. I managed to keep the cherry tomatoes alive all winter, or all summer, excuse me. And I'm still getting tomatoes off of it. That one looks like it's about gone. And then finally, let's see, there's my sugarcane plantation. I've never talked about that before. That started, a friend of mine gave me a stalk of sugarcane a couple years ago. Instead of eating it, I planted it. Now I got a bunch of them out there, and last time I looked there were 6 or 8 new ones popping up at the bottom. There's actually another fig out there. There's the oak tree that fell on my yard Hurricane Matthew. There's what's left of my magnolia tree. Hurricane Matthew dropped that over top of my tomatoes last year. Lots of other stuff growing. I can't keep up with it all. But I think that should cover the status for all of my what can I grow from the grocery store. You won't see any garlic in here. I plant, actually, I think there's one right there. Garlic I usually plant just as a pest controller because I never get any good bulbs around here. I think that's because we don't usually have a winter, from what I'm starting to understand. I think that gives us a status update on everything from the grocery store. We'll be keeping an eye on the pineapples and the turmeric and ginger. Maybe I'll do a harvest video on the turmeric and ginger when I do that. And then hopefully I'll be having some tomatoes out there at some point to talk about. But things are still growing. Some of the experiments worked. Celery was a miserable mistake. Just could not handle the heat in this place. Even today with our overcast conditions, I think it's 85 today. October 13th, 85 degrees. It was 90 a couple days ago. I don't think we're going to have a winter. But there's my status update. See that things are still going. Hopefully I'll have better updates when I start digging some of this stuff up. And incidentally, that there is a bunch of radishes I planted. There's actually some carrots planted in there too, but I haven't seen any of them come up yet. None of those came from the grocery store. I bought seed packets. That's my update.